Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tastemaker Talk episode 4. I can't believe we're already on episode 4. And so, Tastemaker Talk is where you get to chat with your food creator business besties. Here we touch on real topics that provide community and connection as we help you achieve your creator business goals. We are your hosts, Abbey and Chandice. We are the CEO and COO of Tastemaker Conference, and we are so excited to be with you today. We had Yoli Ouiya joining us. We'll be talking about it's Juneteenth, so happy Juneteenth, everybody, and honoring Juneteenth. But really, we're going to be talking about just equitable practices in the food content creation space, specifically today. And so she has generously lent her time to us today, and we will meet her later. But I'm going to turn it over to Chandice first to do the sponsor spotlight. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, hello. So excited to feature our sponsor today. Our spotlight sponsor is a returning one, which is Feast. Feast provides bloggers with tools to optimize their food blogs, enhancing their user experience and SEO. And it includes features like recipe card integration, mobile optimization, and structured data support. So Feast's focus on functionality and ease of use ensures food bloggers can efficiently grow their audience and improve their site's performance. So thank you, Feast. We can't wait to see you in Las Vegas.
We love Feast. Yay. Amy is in the comments. She loves Feast. Hi, Amy. Nice to see you. And in terms of this, and if you want to drop your name in the chat, feel free to be asking questions as we're having discussions. It's fun to interact live with everybody. So new food news.
All
My
right.
favorite part of the day.
Oh, good. I have a really great one for you today. But so just going off of last time, I think I told you guys last time that Red Lobster had shuttered a few of their doors. Well, now they full on filed for bankruptcy, which is so sad. We have one in our town. I'm like, should I run over there and eat really quick before they're all closed? But I'm like, do I really care? Do I really like it? It's more just like a nostalgic thing as a kid if we were going to get seafood like in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know?
I only ever went to Red Lobster once.
Yeah. I just feel like I need to go get I need to go have lobster. But I don't know. I don't know. Apparently if they're filing for bankruptcy, it's not that great. So maybe I should just save it for some other time.
Well, I thought it was because of the buffet situation too. It went viral.
What happened? Okay.
No.
No.
I don't know. I don't know if we talked about this last time. We don't need to spend a lot of time on that, but yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyways. And then Pizza Hut just announced they're closing 15 locations. So I think this is probably just happening more with some of the chains that have been around for so long. We're all getting back to that like mom and pop food, like farm to table. And so a lot of these are probably just not doing as well as they once did in the 90s. So and then this isn't food, but it's something you eat. So teenage boys are chewing gum to chisel their jawline.
Oh, is that like a thing? There's a whole term that my sons use.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yes, it's mewing. You go.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it's called? Okay, so this is a session on Gen Z slang because there's so many things that they say, and I'm like, are you speaking like the same language I'm speaking right now? Because I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, and so apparently they're really concerned about their jawline. So rather than just eating normal food, they're now chewing so much gum to chisel their jawline. So I don't know.
Interesting.
But I just thought that was funny. It was in like new food news, which is it's just funny to me. I love that today to celebrate Juneteenth, restaurant caterer and cookbook author Melba Wilson of the famed New York City restaurant went on the Today Show and she cooked up her favorite things. She cooked up country fried catfish, collard greens, and red punch. And I was like, oh, that's so fun. I love that. So I love seeing that like mainstream. And I'm really excited to make red punch. I've never made it and it looks really, really good. Have you made it?
No,
Yeah, it
maybe
looks
not.
If you haven't looked it up yet, you should look up red punch because it is great and definitely find it from, you know, a source that where they know how to make it right and do it right. And so I just loved seeing that. What a fun way to start today with the Today Show and food. Okay, lastly, my last new food news. McDonald's has released a Grandma McFlurry.
What does that mean?
So after you're going through grandma's purse and you're pulling out tissues and other stuff, you find the hard candies, right? And they're usually like butterscotch or something like that. So they've crushed up hard candies, they added some syrup, they've mixed it into vanilla, and they just said, but what they said was so cute in their press release. Um, they were saying that that grandmas are having their moment of influencing the world, and so we want to commemorate them with the Grandma McFlurry. It was so cute. Grandmas have held a special place in our hearts, and today they're having a major moment influencing culture, inspiring trends in fashion, decor, and now even food with our newest McFlurry. So Grandma McFlurry tastes like a trip down memory lane, and we're excited to give our fans that experience while honoring the grandma figures in our lives. So I thought that one was awesome.
Do you like butterscotch candies?
I love them. And my grandpa, I would go visit him and he would give horehound candy. Do you remember that?
I
Have
don't
you,
know what that is.
so he had
Maybe I do.
beer barrels. Most people know horehound candy is made from like a root of I don't know what it is, but anyways, it's like a root candy. If anyone else knows better than I do what it is, but I just remember eating that candy. It kind of reminds me of like a molasses or something, but it was,
Okay.
so he'd have those hard candies and he would sing like Two Little Girls in Blue, and it was just very, it was my grandpa, not my grandma. Um, but and I would buy boxes of coffee nips because my grandma drank coffee. And one time I was like, I want to try it. She goes, okay. She poured me a cup and I'm like, whoa, this is so bad. I was like Buddy the Elf on Elf. And she goes, add some sugar. And I did. And I was like, ugh. And she goes, add more. Blah. It was terrible. Finally, I had a pile of sugar, like a mountain of sugar coming out of the coffee. And she goes, if it doesn't taste good yet, it's not going to. So I decided it wasn't for me, but I would buy boxes of coffee nips because I love the smell and like
Mm-hmm.
the flavor, but not like of drinking coffee. So, anyways,
Mm-hmm.
a hard candy situation with grandmas and grandpas. I think it's cute and what a fun, very unique thing. So that's my new food news.
That's great. I love it. We love new food news. New food news, new food news.
Food
Okay, the
news.
next
Lori said
fun
that.
announcement that
Oh,
wait,
I was
what'd
gonna.
you say?
Lori
No,
said
go
that
for it.
used to put 4 heaping teaspoons of sugar in my coffee when she was a kid. Well, teaspoons is a lot less than what I mean. It was literally didn't even have time to dissolve. It was like a mountain of sugar coming out.
You went for like a cup and a half of sugar.
It was still
That's
gross.
awesome.
And then Amy said
Well,
so many restaurants are closing lately. I know it's kind of sad, huh? We just went to a restaurant today locally, and it's a local one. And my son said he's 15, and he said, "I really hope they do well, Mom." I'm like, "Me too," because it was good.
yeah. I mean, it's true. I mean, they say what opening a restaurant is one of the riskiest like business endeavors because they have what like a 60% failure rate or something higher, just like statistically. It's
Yeah,
a
you like something
it's a
local.
tough business to be in.
Yeah, especially
Hmm.
if it's like locally owned mom and pop, definitely support them a lot. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for that. The next item of news we have is our venue announcement before we dive into today with our very special guest. But we've announced it on our social media. We have not announced it in our newsletter yet, but we're going to announce it here too that our co location with the Winter Fancy Food Show for Tastemaker 2025 will be on site at the Las Vegas Convention Center West Hall on the third floor. So Chandice just had an opportunity to do the site visit there. And we're so excited to be doing an incredible collaboration in such an incredible location. So the whole third floor is for us, not the entire thing, but a large portion of the third floor. And there's a lot of beautiful open space there. And it's just going to be great to bring the tastemaker magic and feel to the show, and that we have our own space, but then you get to go downstairs to the show floor, and the integrations we have prepared are really exciting and fun. And it's just fun for us to keep leveling up every year and introducing new things. So Candice, if you want to add anything to that.
it's so beautiful. I was there this last weekend. We just shared a reel to our Instagram. It's so stunning. And there's a place when you just need to get out of the conference or the convention center and take a break. There's this gorgeous, huge patio. that has lounge furniture that you can look out and watch the Las Vegas Sphere. So it's so bright and beautiful and so fun. And then we had so much fun starting to put together our excursion dinner and things like that. We are going to take you to downtown, like old Las Vegas, and take you where, like, the famous chefs go to open their heart and soul restaurant. So we're excited. There's a lot of fun things to do.
Yay! Wonderful. Okay, now we get to jump into our discussion. So our topic today, it is about equity and inclusion in the food content creation space. And we are looking forward to discussing, as it is Juneteenth today. So we want to say happy Juneteenth. And we are so honored to be joined for this discussion with Yoli Ouiya. So Yoli is the founder of the Food and Wellness Equity Collective, an initiative dedicated to promoting inclusivity and equity in the food and wellness industries. Her leadership and advocacy efforts aim to transform the landscape of food and wellness, making it accessible and equitable for all. So Yoli, welcome to Tastemaker Talk. We would love to hear your own introduction as well. Do you want to share a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. Happy Juneteenth to everyone. Where does this all begin? I would say I'm an OG content creator, especially in the food and food lifestyle space, that turned into a co-founder of this wonderful organization that started during the pandemic because of all the things that were happening in the world at the time. And this is where we are today. Tastemaker has been a wonderful advocate and supporter of us over the last couple of years. So happy to be here.
We appreciate you. So we are going to talk a little bit about where does food and specifically food content creation come into this conversation of wellness and equity and accessibility and all those things. For any of you who were there, was it 2023? The opening keynote for 2023. We had you as the opening keynote. That was the year, right?
I think.
Yeah. Was it 2022 already? Okay, it was 2022.
It was what?
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like you just gave such an
23. I'm like,
Leslie will help.
Movie.
I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know. It feels like it was so long ago, but not that far ago. And I feel like it was just such a great conversation to have, because I feel like this equity and inclusion within content creation is so incredibly important. And I remember you just illustrating a lot of statistics and things and ways to implement business practices and making equitable practices more a part of just our streamlined operations within our food creator businesses. So we want to talk a little bit about that, and specifically, what responsibilities do food creators have when it comes to inclusivity and equity in their content and their practices?
Thank you very much. And first of all, thank you for having me be your keynote speaker for that event. It was a good opportunity for us to exercise our what we've been preaching about for the last 4 years, and get audience and say, hey, this is things that we've been working on and where we feel strongly where there needs to be more development. Essentially, I think one of the biggest things for content creators is, as a whole, and not gender specific, not race specific, not origin specific, is knowing that you have worth and value. Like your time is worth something, whatever that form of payment looks like to you. And I think, I don't know about y'all, but in the beginning of this whole thing, before we called it content creation, before we were influencers and all this stuff, getting free product was like, whoa, this is amazing. We're getting free product to do things about food, get free food to write about it, go to restaurants, do all those things, because it was really the advent of this space. Now, and I'm sure your audience in the blogging space, it's a job. I started my blog, and within 2 years, I won an award, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm done. Like, this is it. But I realized within a couple of months, I was like, this is a commitment. This is a job. Like, I'm working, I'm creating content, I'm taking photos, I'm recipe developing. And we slowly saw the tides change, but we're like, okay, now this is a job. So how do I sustain this? And there's a lot of stuff happening in the, as you all are aware of, with Google algorithms and things. It's really important for content creators to be highly aware of the value they provide, while also acknowledging there's a disparity in compensation in that, and that falls by gender, that falls by race, that falls by origin and or orientation rather. And I think if people have a bit of empathy about what that looks like and know that it can, if it doesn't affect them now, it will affect them later. And they will see that over the next 6 to 8 months with all the algorithm changes and the uncertainty of certain platforms. Then if you start now, it won't become an issue later, especially stuff on the legislative side. Like, all this stuff is happening all at once. So everyone needs to be concerned and be fighting for each other in this space. I'll give an example. Many years ago when I was I was a brand ambassador for a brand, and I was talking with another content creator, and she basically disclosed to me what she was making. And she said to me, oh, that's no comparison to what so-and-so is making. And that he was a male blogger, which was still kind of rare in our space at the time. When I tell you he had a fraction of the following we had, a fraction of the engagement, and he was making quadruple what we were making. So when that became apparent, luckily the brand ambassador was ending, but that was just my first foray into knowing, oh, like, is this going to happen more often? Like, just because he's a guy, and the person who was one of the leads of the campaign is a guy, and he identified with him, is that why he's getting paid more? Because it didn't make any sense to us. So we all need to be fighting for each other in various ways, because it's going to hit us one way or another.
Yeah. And I think that's a really interesting conversation, just like thinking about what's happening right now with just Google and all the updates and differences. And we've had a couple episodes talking about that. And I think there's just even been some conversation about what that looks like for diverse creators that, they have certain heritages and recipes that are like indigenous to their culture, and how Google has not prioritized that or hasn't like helped their content be ranked first because it's been this thing. And I think that's really interesting. I don't know if there's data around that available yet, if we're going to be seeing a shift that the creators whose heritage and culture it belongs to will be getting more recognition with their content being ranked. Have you heard anything like that? Or has anybody on the call today heard anything about that? Because I think like that is like from a legislative standpoint, or even from like advocating for equality that way, like that's what comes top of mind for me.
It would, but it's still a slippery slope, because how do you determine authentic without knowing who the author is? And then you fall down that slippery slope of people gamifying the system to say, oh yeah, this is an authentic recipe, or putting, meta tags and all that stuff to gamify the system. I think we're already in a slippery slope with the focus on AI and the Reddit track of pushing people in that direction versus just looking for truly organic content. And I think the role that content creators are going to play is significant in that. If, let's say, for instance, I know some people in the travel blogging space who have completely lost all organic traffic.
Yeah.
Some people have said, I call it quits. I'm not doing it anymore. And on the food side, I've seen like varies from minimal impact to very large impact, and minimal being like 15, 20%, which is still significant. That's losing like 15 to 20% of income if you want to just really think about what that looks like. So I think the biggest issue now is, how do we focus on making sure our personal ships don't sink. Once you once you do that, it's like being on an airplane. Put your mask on first. Okay. Once you figure out what that looks like, now it's also checking in with your other content creators and other content creators you may not know and say, hey, how are you doing? How can I support you? Because if they lost 50% of their traffic, how can you help elevate them in another direction so that they were not losing as much as you per se, because you have a lot more community generated and you have your newsletter and you have all the things going. How can you lift the next up so that they're not struggling? What tips can you share that you've learned in this short time? Because literally it is changing every day, every week.
Yeah.
We're getting a new article, a new adjustment. Then Google says they're scaling it back a little bit, but how much is that? And they're not really sharing enough information for us to gather what that will look like. And I'm hoping that will change over the next couple of months. So the equity part comes in, and how do you help this person besides yourself? You put your mask on, you're trying to figure it out, and maybe helping that next person will help you because now y'all can figure it out together. It's not like I'm a solo person. I think one of the biggest things in the food space is that we have operated a lot in silos. And that is the beauty of having communities like Tastemaker, like the Food and Wellness Equity Collective, and all the other collectives that exist out there. Is let's build community so we can figure this out together instead of trying to figure it out on our own.
I love that so much, because I will say that the most generous, kind women, you know, Jocelyn from Grand Baby Cakes, Holly Neeson, Alyssa, those women don't need to show me anything. And they have taken the time to be like, hey, I learned this and I might as well pass it on to you. I love the abundance mentality versus the scarcity mentality. Just because you share a secret of our community with someone else, it's not going to take away from you. It will all come back always. And so I love that perspective of, if you've learned something, share it with somebody else.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think like that is an interesting way to define equity, because like I think a lot of times we hear the word equity and have this very like academic description or definition of it, which isn't necessarily wrong, right? They're important, but I think like in this space specifically, hearing you define this is what equity looks like today in June of 2024 based on what is happening.
Right. Because it literally will change tomorrow. It'll change August, September, October. It's just happening at such a rapid pace. And I look at it this way. We already know disproportionately in the food blogging space, the majority of people who have the most income in that space are straight white women. That's like, it's not an offensive thing. It's just is what it is.
It's data. It's just it's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fact. And they are doing disproportionately well to other people in that space. And that's not because you didn't work hard. Yes, it is because you worked hard. And there's also an implicit bias that exists not just in algorithms, but in branding. And it's not to say, oh, someone chose you on purpose. I remember there was a video by a content creator more in like the fashion lifestyle space. And she was a white woman, and she basically said, and she's a young white woman, and she basically said, hey, I acknowledge that there's bias in this space because the PR people I'm working with, they look like me. So they're going to show. So when I work with them, it's because they're following me or they're following people like me, and I show up on their For You page or I find their page. So there is, if there was more of a concerted effort for people to be more inclusive and have more diversity, then maybe we have a different landscape. I think what we have seen change over the last 2 years since George Floyd and all the, the stuff that was happening with Black Lives Matter is brands and different brands were like saying they were really committed to diversity and DEI and all that stuff. And within the last year to 2 years, all of that has disappeared. And when I say all of it has disappeared, I mean all of it. I asked a few people, hey, did you get anything for Black History Month this year? Because some people do special campaigns. And a lot of people are like, no, it's been oddly very quiet. And you have seen DEI initiatives take a step back or be dismantled. You've seen it happen in the food space. You've seen it happen in different spaces. And I think it is not up to the brands at this point because they can apply willful ignorance. It's really up to us. I think we're going to need each other in the coming months simply because, yes, we have one thing happening, but on the legislative side, there's stuff coming down the pipeline that I would say 70% of content creators don't even know that's coming down. Like there's a movement to say, if you get over a certain amount of views within a year, you are no longer considered a small business. So things like that coming down the pipeline, that could change the landscape of how you operate as a content creator, as a blogger, as a business. And I think the more numbers we have, the more solidarity, the more community we have, the more bringing everyone up. So now we're fighting at an equal playing field, then we can come back in greater numbers. And as far as like information on that, the Food and Wellness Equity Collective, we're looking into a lot of that legislation. And we're going to be doing, so hopefully some work around that in the next couple of months. I'm actually doing a social media post on TikTok about it because I was just like, does anyone know that this is happening? Like in the background?
I mean, I didn't. Yeah. And I was just going to ask you that. Like, do you have any resources where we can share that or share it with our community?
I was talking with another blogger, Lakita, and she was telling me about it. And she was like, nobody knows about it. And I was like, oh my good. Is Lakita from simplylakita.com. And she very like hyper aware of this information. So hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we'll be disseminating some of that information. I'll definitely share with you all when it becomes available, and some of the resources that were provided to me. But there's just so much, and it's happening all at the same time on top of an election year. Like, when can we have a break? So you got to worry about your business. You got to worry about politics. You got to worry about the economy. You got to worry about food prices rising and how do you maintain what you're doing. But if you have community with other people in your sector who know what they're doing, and having community with people who don't necessarily look like you, you're going to find opportunities to have, it's almost like if you operate with the same people and hang out with the same people, you're always going to have the same perspective. You're not going to get a different set of opinions. You're not going to get another way to look at things. I'm from New York. I'm a diverse melting pot of people. Like when I say that, I am not exaggerating. I walk outside and I can meet 10 different cultures in the span of an hour. My friend group also reflects that, just because it's the way I grew up. So when I meet people who don't have that, I feel like I have empathy. I'm like, oh goodness, like you don't know how to recycle plastic bags. Is that something we did growing up because people get collected plastic bags? So it behooves you. It's not for you to go around and collecting diverse friends like Pokemon. It's really about enriching your horizons, your perspectives, and also inspiration. Like you can inspire someone in your food development. They can inspire you. There's so many different benefits of having people from all walks of life. And that includes age, that includes region of the world. My best friends live literally all around the world. Best friend in Hong Kong, Portland, Atlanta, Japan. So having this is such an inspiration, and having an opportunity to really expand your horizons in that perspective, but also they may have solutions you may never have thought of. So I just feel like if you're going to have a food rich life, also have a diverse rich life as well.
Absolutely. And I think like that's something that, first of all, I always love hearing your insights on things because I think that is a conversation that can often be missing, or I think that we forget about. And I think it was interesting to hear you call out that now in 2024, plus the election year, I think there's a lot of rhetoric feeding into people's changing opinions about things, like the public perception of like what was trending and what people are paying attention to obviously is shifting. And specifically with like Black communities not really getting the brand deals or anything like that, or BIPOC creators or whatever that is, because it almost seems like it was a trendy thing to have diversity and equity and inclusion initiatives. So I think that's important to call out and be thinking about. And for us to just have awareness of like, this happens. Like humans are fickle and follow trends in really strange ways. And I think really having like your own personal North Star and being firm in your values of like, this is what I value, this is what's important, and this is what's important, and here's how to do that. So thank you for outlining, some steps there. And I think it's important to where obviously we try to cultivate that with Tastemaker, and there are things, with our resources, there's only so much we can do, but bit by bit, we try to make sure that we're implementing that as a community and a resource to learn about those things. But are there other groups that you would recommend or that you have? Obviously, FWEC is a great resource. Can anybody join that? Like, what does that look like? Or do you have other groups and resources for diverse relationships that are true and authentic and not just collecting them?
So I would say, yes, anyone can join. Anyone who's a content creator can join. Like, we have resources, we have some events coming up that we're really excited about, and looking how we can continue cultivating community and being a resource to the community in that way. I think one of the challenges that we all experience is, during the Ponderosa, as I like to call it, we had to do all these digital events, and then people got sick of digital and people checked out a little bit. Now that we're back, in person, there's less of the digital space, but people are so checked out. They're like, we're just trying to do these things, but people are not checking in. I think it is imperative that we, wherever we find ourselves in these communities, if you're at Tastemaker, if you're at a FWEC event, you make it intentional to leave that event with at least 4 to 5 different contexts of people you met that you didn't know before. For the fact of, this is how you start to create community, and then that person may connect you with someone else, and then you become friends or become friendly associates, and at some point they're like, oh, I saw this deal come across my plate. I think it's not a fit for me, but it may be a fit for you. That's how community starts to grow. And also being transparent. I think you can join any organization. It doesn't matter what organization you join. It's about how you show up in that organization. Are you just there to be a part of it, to say, I put a gold star next to my profile name and I'm part of this organization? Or is it about when you show up to these events, are you actively participating? Are you filling out the survey, the organizations at the end of the event, so that they can contribute to creating something better and more meaningful for you for the following year? It's about showing up fully in that space as yourself and being authentic, and then also supporting the organization or the conference and helping them cultivate that community, because your feedback is imperative. The feedback we got from our last conference was imperative for us to say, okay, this is how we can change things. This is how we can improve. So there are plenty of organizations out there for Black content creators. There's Eat the Culture. There's like different organizations that exist, and you can always DM us on Food Wellness Equity on Instagram, and we can refer you to different sectors that do exist.
That's awesome. Thank you. I feel like we have about 9 minutes left. So if there are any questions that people have, if you want to drop those in the comments, we can, in the last 8 to 10 minutes that we have to wrap up the conversation here, feel free to drop those in. But I want to hear a little bit more what happened at your Creator Summit and what that was like, because I think you obviously are having these important conversations year round within FWEC. What were the big takeaways from that? That was in October of this last year, right? So
September of last year.
Was it September? Okay, so like 9 months ago.
Yeah. Oh God, that sounds so far away, but it was like, it felt far.
It wasn't. Yeah.
I think one of the biggest takeaways for us was that feeling of cultivating community. This was like probably one of the things we heard over and over was, this was probably one of the best conferences I've been to. I love the feeling of, you know, stepping outside of my comfort zone. One lesson we did learn is we put too much. We tried to
Mhm.
talk about too much in one day. And we now know for our future event, which we'll be announcing soon, we get to be more intentional about how we show up, what we focus on, and really
Mhm.
listening to what their feedback was. And I'm really excited about what we can do moving forward to see how people respond to it and making it more meaningful and more intimate. I think
Mhm.
that's the key point, because a lot of us who are in the space or have been in the space know how it can get lonely. It's not like you can talk to your family about, you know, all the recipe development challenges and issues you're having with your server and your website, because they have
Mhm.
no idea what you're talking about. So I think it's really important for us to be able to keep cultivating community so people have outlets and people who understand them.
Yeah, that's great. And I think like it is so important to get feedback, like even just from our tastemaker community. It's a very iterative process, and we are constantly listening and then course correcting, implementing changes. But I think that is really important. And sometimes it is the simplest answer, but like the obvious one. So it's
And
always
you
nice to
are
hear
really
fellow.
good you're good at like checking in to get feedback from your community, and then when you hear something you're like, okay, we need to fix this.
You do
So
it. The follow
yeah,
through is important. Yeah.
big thing, because there's a lot of people who don't do that, who get the feedback and like, oh, it's worked for us and we'll keep chugging in this direction, but you
Yeah.
do make a concerted effort to make adjustments where it's necessary and support the community that you serve.
Yeah. Well, and I think that comes full circle to this conversation of what can we be doing in our own businesses, our own content creation spaces to be leaning towards equity and keeping that at the forefront for all of us to grow and be able to show our value and help one another out. And it doesn't happen unless you do it, right? And I think it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to do this and have grand aspirations, but words without action don't
I,
move the needle at all, right?
I think the biggest thing a person could say, realize at any moment, is that it could be me.
Yeah,
It could be
that's a
me.
really good
Today,
point.
it could be me. To me, it may be my friend over there, but it could be you. So what are you going to do now to ensure that everyone is on an equal playing field, or at least somewhat of an equal playing field, so that way when it is your turn, because by all means it's always somebody's turn, that you have a legacy behind you of people said, oh, that person looked out for me, let me help them and look out for them.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love
you're
that.
not building equity in that way, you're building fidelity, you're building leadership, you're building people who will support you in your time of need, whatever that looks like. So it may not be your turn now, but eventually it may be, and you'll need that support.
Yeah, that's great. Can I ask you one random question before we leave?
By all means.
I would love I would love to know if you have any Juneteenth traditions that you're doing today that are fun, like any food or anything you like to do, or maybe
Oh, called
yourself.
relax.
Yeah,
I am relaxed.
yeah.
It's literally
As
people,
you should.
because a lot of the celebrations happen over like the weekend or this coming weekend. So at least
Yeah.
over the weekend, my cousin uh decided, hey, let's have like a cookout. So cousins, aunties, nephews, we met them at a park and they had like a little cookout. But on the actual day, it is a Wednesday. We are experiencing a heat wave in New York City. I said,
Oh.
let me get my water. Let me watch some TV, be calm and cool, literally,
Mm-hmm.
relax.
Mm-hmm.
Because like any other day, all the other days we are running around. And how often do we get a chance to just sit and not be obligated to do anything and talk to anyone? But I'm happy to talk to
That's
you
true.
today. It's easy. You turn on the camera, we have a fun conversation, and we keep it moving. But yeah, today is just chilling out.
I love that. Yes. All the rest. We all need more rest. I think that would solve a lot of problems if rest was
And more sleep. Oh,
prioritized more sleep. Yes.
oh, but random. I've been going to bed before 11 o'clock for like 2 days, and I feel like, why haven't I done this before? Like, why haven't I gone to bed before 11 o'clock before? So I'm gonna do the same thing today. I'm gonna, make up the bed, make it look real pretty, get eats, and then go to bed early. That's my celebration. Sleep.
I feel like that's the truth of adulting is like, oh, this is what it feels like if I go to bed and get 7 to 8 hours of sleep.
110%.
That.
I am excited about that today.
Yoli, I want to ask you, because I was saying at the beginning of the call that I was really excited to make the red punch with my kids. So do you have somewhere specifically you recommend I get that recipe?
Oh God. So the red punch you're talking about for us as kids was just red Kool-Aid. That was our punch. Oh God. That was, in hindsight, I'm like, what were we doing? And now, who would have a good one? That is a great question. Wouldn't be Marta, because she's more on the food side. I'm wondering if Tenoria may have something. So check Tenoria's blog. Let me see if I can dig her up, because there's so many different people. I wonder if Lakita has anything like that. There's so many blogs. I'm like, who has that? It's not my, so to be very specific, my father's from West Africa, and my grandparents, so I mean on my mom's side, are South Carolina or New York by way of South Carolina and Florida, by all means. And my red punch growing up is something that's not what you would consider African American red punch. It's more like African Caribbean red punch. And African red punch in my area is called sorrel in the Caribbean, or bisap in my dad's country. So it's a hibiscus. So that's why it makes it red.
Ooh.
So it's hibiscus, ginger. In my recipe, I do a little bit of cinnamon and clove.
We want your recipe. I want to try that. That sounds amazing.
I was like, I have that on my personal Instagram. That is like something I make every year. My brother will harass me at least twice a year. Here we go. DivasCanCook.com has a simple party fruit punch recipe. That's the red punch you're talking about, because it's literally like fruit punch, and it's probably the most amazing sugar coma you can ever put yourself in. Listen, I haven't had sugar in 5 years. I miss sugar.
Is it? Well, the one that I saw was more like what you're talking about with the hibiscus and all of that.
Really?
Yeah, that was the one that I saw that I'm like, I'm gonna make that.
Then girl, then I got you. So
Okay.
literally, it's like,
is it on your Instagram?
It's on my personal Instagram, Yoli Ouiya. And it's in the reels. I don't post often at all.
We'll find it.
I have there, and it is like one of my favorite things. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make that today. There's my celebration.
There you go.
I'm going to make my red punch. But in the Caribbean, you can look up, in the Caribbean, they call it sorrel. So if you look up a sorrel recipe, it'll be in the same wheelhouse. You know who may have one that's really good besides one on my Instagram? I think Immaculate Bites.
Okay.
A sorrel recipe, which is probably in the same wheelhouse.
Okay, I'm looking. Oh yeah, that's great. Great site.
I'm just gonna, I'm not in a place where I can make this, but I love hibiscus and all of the nourishing benefits of all of that. So I'm just gonna make that to drink it.
Listen, it's amazing. It's high in vitamin C. It's great. Just keep it in the fridge. Like I make my own personal like anti-inflammatory ginger drink. I've been toying, putting a recipe up about it for the last couple of weeks. And I really should, because I'm working on, ladies, you're the first to know.
What are you working on? You're always working on something. Tell us.
Well, me personally, I was like, I should get back to like my food roots. I'm working on a food blog.
Yay! Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the focus?
The focus is on people who eat like me, so who are allergic to damn near everything, and
Mhm.
who don't think they can enjoy food anymore, and they think they have to eat just bland, plain food. And I'm
Mhm.
here to tell you, you do not have to suffer. You can eat well like me. Like, I make fried chicken, but it's never fried, and I don't use any flour, and it looks like crispy fried chicken. So things like that is my focus point. And I'm focusing on people with food sensitivities and food allergies. So
You're talking to Candace and I both have raging autoimmune disorders and food allergies. So I'm like, I would like to make all the food that you make. I'm your target audience as well. Mhm.
so
So
that's why.
that is great and much needed.
Yes, I've noticed that, and then when I go to different spaces, some recipes are very focused on like GERD and really, and I kind of want
Mhm.
to just kind of cover them all and give, like, I've been experimenting with this sugar-free ketchup for like literally for the last year, and I think I finally perfected it. It's very specific with the kind of tomatoes, and then
Uh-huh.
I'll give like a little secret. Like, did you know, like, for some people who have like tomato sensitivity, the sensitivity comes from the seed and from the skin. So if you can remove the seed and the skin, you can reduce the sensitivity or eliminate.
Oh,
Exactly. I don't care. I
that's
eat it all.
interesting.
And I'm like, I'll just suffer if I have any reaction for everybody else.
Yeah.
But
How
I've
did you
been
see that ketchup? Because I always use Primal Kitchens because
there's
regular ketchup is way too sweet. I
there,
can't handle. So I
there,
would love to make my own, so that'll be great.
yeah, I'm excited about kind of going back into that space. I just don't understand. Like, I've been so far removed from it, and I look at all the new
Mhm.
content creators, and I'm like, how do y'all do this? This is
It's a lot
like
of work.
it's a labor of love, and
Mhm.
we all deserve to be paid for what we do. Even though it's a labor of love, it is work, it is time, it is money.
Mhm. Mhm.
um that's why I feel so strongly about us working in these spaces and supporting our communities, because people get bored of eating the same thing, and we're out here trying to spice up their life, literally. So I would say, yes, help everyone around you in the space, support them, feed them with information,
Mhm.
resources, and we hopefully will come out on the other side thriving again.
Yes. I think that's a beautiful way to sum up this whole conversation. And we are out of time, unfortunately, but thank you, Yoli, always for sharing your insight and knowledge. We're super excited for your endeavors with your food blog, but also with Fleck. If you want to let people know where they can find you before we sign off, what's the best place to connect with you?
So you can find us at Food Wellness Equity on all platforms, and our website, foodwellnessequity.com.
All right, wonderful. So we will have the replay up shortly, but also we would like for you to join us on July 3rd for episode 5, where we plan to discuss creating a work-life balance that is sustainable and effective in the summer. Because as we talked about today, rest is always a priority, but especially when it's just really damn hot. So everybody, thank you, Yoli, again for being here, and have a great day, everyone. Happy Juneteenth.
Thanks, everyone. Bye, Yoli. Thank you.